I feel like I'm sitting in a very peaceful place. I see a pond or water in front of me. There's this whole mountain range behind me, this little cottage. I feel very peaceful.
You been to this place before?
No,
Is there anyone there with you?
the Sasquatch.
Oh, our friends are back. All right. Well, what are the Sasquatch? Why are they showing up today?
To teach us how to find beauty in all things.
Hmm. Do we as humans have a hard time with that? Is that what they're concerned with right now?
Yeah, especially this time on Earth. It's there's a lot of things going on, and we're starting to feel a little chaotic. So they really just want to talk about coming back into the present moment, being in flow, and just finding beauty in everything. Because when you bring yourself back into the present moment, that's when you can appreciate the beauty of all things. That's when you can find peace. And this beautiful butterfly landed on his shoulder and he just smiles at it. It's so beautiful. Like once we are more in our peace and in our balance, we're just in a better flow with nature and a better flow with all things around us.
And why are they the best ones to bring this message forth?
Because they really understand the harmonic balance of nature, that nature is just this beautiful song singing, and we can tune ourselves to that same song. So when we listen to the birds chirping, that is a frequency that we connect with to be in flow with the universe and to the flow with nature and with the earth. And he's saying, just sit in nature and listen. Just listen to the harmonies and the frequencies of nature.
I've been in I've been in the mountains all of my life and lived in the mountains for several years. And I always loved how the birds worked with other animals because the birds would communicate when a predator was coming, and you could hear the rhythm of like them trying to tell the other animals, the smaller animals, to like hide. And there is something just so beautiful and peaceful about the way nature works together as a community. Um, is humanity having a hard time with that right now?
Yeah, and they're saying the birds are our teachers. That's why in ancient Egypt, you saw a lot of symbolism using a bird because they're meant to lead us and they're here to teach us
And what are they here to teach us?
how to be in harmony, how to create that harmonic balance. And then birds understand how to use the elements and how to work with the elements. They know how to fly and flow. They know how to fly with the wind. They can be grounded to earth. They understand their place on earth, but then they also connect us to the heavens and they can flow between both as they fly through. And he's also saying that they just have a peace about them where they just are.
I love when you see like a hawk or something, a big bird, and then those small birds that are protecting their their eggs and their nests. They have such bravery and empowerment taking on these giant birds. And it's always just beautiful to, you know, like they just put all fear aside and it's about empowerment and they don't care about their size. They're just like ready to take on the hawk. What do you guys feel the pain of that's going on in the earth right on with humanity right now? Do you guys feel that on behalf of humanity, or what do you guys, what's your perspective on what humanity's going through?
We are able to see it from a higher level of understanding, but it still hurts our hearts to see others hurting. So that is why we are so happy to help guide you, to connect you more with Gaia, um, and to learn how to be in peace with all things and harmony and balance. It has been hard to watch from afar. You can also see us as a type of observer. It has been hard to watch you in your concrete jungles and your concrete matrices that have turned into almost prison cells for you. And so we are just so happy that you are finding your way out of these things.
Gave me chills, like whole body chills. Um, how are you guys doing as a collective?
He says they're doing good. I can see him playing with the elementals of Earth. They're saying that all the elementals are here to help us also. I feel like fairies fluttering around me. There's a little gnome right here. Like he was like just all we have to do is just go out into nature with the intention to connect with the elements, to connect with the beautiful aspects of Earth. We are an aspect of Earth, and so we can easily connect to all of the other aspects of Earth that she has and that she births and that she gives life to. And as a collective, we're doing good. We only wish the best for humanity. We are also here to help the earth evolve. So we are here keeping guard of nature, keeping guard of the wildlife that remains. He's saying keeping guard of sacred portals. They keep guard of sacred portals that take you down into inner earth to really protect and maintain inner earth and the beauty of what inner earth is. It's almost like they want to bring the beauty of inner earth up to the surface, and they're excited that once we make these changes and these transitions, then the beauty from inner earth will come to the surface and it will be so beautiful.
Now, why are some elementals and fairies and even your own kind perceived by some of the spiritual community as angry or dangerous?
Because there are people that have seen us before that just didn't understand. It's like those old stories when you hear of the Wiccan in the forest that was off by herself, just living a beautiful life in nature, not harming anyone, creating magic in her own life, being so happy and so present. And then the villagers come and think that she is using, they have a misconception, a lower understanding of what is happening, and she's burned at the stake for it. It is that kind of misconception where there was just a lower level of understanding of these different kind of beings. So somebody would come across a being like us and have a misconception or just a lower understanding of what we really were.
Mm. And does it have anything to do with someone's intention or their heart? Like if they're there and they might be of harm, that they might be received in the same aggression?
Yes, absolutely. So it also depends on that person and the way that they perceive it. It's all perception, they're saying.
Mm. Um, what is their favorite thing about being in nature? Like, what do they like a day in the life of a Sasquatch or an elemental? Like, what is their favorite thing to do?
A fairy just like grabbed my hand. It was like, "You're coming with me now."
Oh, let's
Um,
see.
they do like to spy on humans, like the humans that go into nature and um for time to themselves. They do like to they're showing me this fairy watching these little kids run through the forest and play. Like they really do like to watch humans. They like to people watch. um and then they just have this understanding of what nature is, and they are in flow with nature. It's so beautiful. And I'm almost seeing the Smurfs where there's just so much more going on the even the surface of Earth than what we're shown. And they're really telling me like the power of mentalism. If we can imagine it, it's real. And all of these things, unicorns, Smurfs, they're even showing me like toads from Mario. They all came from some kind of being in the universe. All of these beings already existed. They just came into our imagination because they were already real. And so just opening ourselves up, opening up to our inner child, and just letting our imagination go wild. So imagination right now is so important because we are going into a time where we have to construct something so much different than the world that we have ever known. We have to really break apart the old systems of Earth that we have all been so highly conditioned to be in. And the only way that we're going to build something new and something so magical is through the power of imagination. We have to learn how to tap into our hearts and create from a place of love so that we can imagine a new, beautiful world together.
Mm. My heart just really opens up with you talking about nature and imagination. Do you like what happens to us? Because I know as a child, like my imagination, I could go in the forest and be there for hours. But what happens? What is it that happens in our lives that makes us stop using our imagination? I feel like something happens as kids that it goes away.
You are never told how to handle your emotions. So when you go through your teenage years, you get so caught up on what your emotions are. You get so caught up. That's when you experience depression and anger and all these emotions for the first time, and you're never taught how to use them. So all these emotions just get trapped and stored in your body and get you stuck in these lower vibrations from a very early age. And when you feel these lower emotions, when you're stuck in these lower vibrations, you don't care to use your imagination. You don't care of connecting with the unicorn in your backyard. You
Mm.
don't care to connect with the fairy that's been visiting your mom's garden. You can't even find the energy just to play or to just go through your daily life. And so you've been conditioned at a very young age, right when you hit puberty, that you no longer need your imagination. You're in survival. You're just in that fight or flight from a very young age.
That makes sense. Yeah, because it feels like at some point the light just like turns on as far as like the dark room where you could like imagine all things that, and the light just turns on to, reality. You just see it's kind of like last call. Like when they turn the light on, you're like, oh, these people got, less attractive with this light on.
And they're saying that that's why when you start meditating and taking care of yourself and you turn off the fight or flight, that's when
Mhm.
your imagination comes back. That's why suddenly all these different beings come to you and this whole world opens up to you. We really have to work with our fight or flight response. We have to work with our anxiety and tune ourselves back to our natural vibration of bliss. We all deserve to live in a state of bliss, to tune ourselves to the beauty of nature so that our imagination can go wild.
So what about that people that are like living in a city like Sierra's in New York? Like how do you get what are your recommendations for like giving them a little bit of nature even though they're in kind of a concrete jungle?
Of course, meditation, because you have to go within before you change the without. So just going within because there's this whole beautiful world within you. You hold the entire cosmos within your heart. You can think about how beautiful Earth is. You hold all of that beauty in your own heart. They're really showing me that as above, so below. And then also, there are beautiful parks in New York, and there are beautiful parks wherever you go. Um, just finding that place to put your feet on the ground, even if it's just a park, and making that connection with nature.
Why are there so many Sasquatch in like I'm by Yosemite and I know we have Sasquatch here, but why are there so many Sasquatch kind of in the California, Oregon, Washington area?
They're just saying that that's really one of the only places where there's dense forest left. They really like to live in the dense forest.
Okay, that makes sense. Were they ever connected to Lemuria?
Yeah, they're saying that they the the Sasquatch being or the pre-Diluvian being was introduced during Lemuria times. So these beings were in Lemuria interacting on Lemuria and Atlantis. Um and then kind of to see how they would interact, to see how they were evolving. Um They were even before they were here before that because there was really it's almost like they were planted here and then there was this evolution of them that this took place.
Right. Was that when they were able to like work on using portals and cloaking and everything? Did they start off with those abilities or did they evolve to be able to access and use those abilities?
They evolved, but they still had a few pushes here and there along the way, just a few design upgrades along the way, getting them prepared for when the Anunnaki would come.
Hmm. And are they able to communicate directly with Gaia, or do they just communicate based on the rhythm of nature?
Yeah, as all beings of Earth, we all have the ability to connect and speak with Gaia directly. So even your dog, our pets, any animal in nature, if the bee that's pollinating a flower, they all have this ability to speak and be in conversation with Gaia.
And kind of off topic, on Star Wars, I assume Chewbacca's a representation of them. Is that the case? Or
That's so funny you said that because I've been picturing Chewbacca like since the last time they came.
oh,
They said a version of it.
how do they feel about being represented that way?
They said it's fine.
Okay.
I don't think they really care.
Okay. All right. um, are there any is there anything else they want us to talk about being in harmony, or any kind of tips they can give humanity at this time?
Nature's just the best way to bring ourselves back into balance. It's like the minute you walk into nature, nature just takes all of those thoughts away. When you're stuck in those thought loops, oh my gosh, I just got this picture of when you're stuck into those thought loops. It's like the moment you're walking down a trail into nature, the fairies are just there taking all of those thoughts away from you. They're like, yes, give it all to us.
And then what do they do with them?
They say they transmute them.
Mm,
So they take them all, they transmute it. They're saying they transmute it with their magic.
I love that.
Like it almost looks like pixie dust. And they're just saying this world is so much more magical than you've ever been taught. And to believe in magic because you are magic. Like it's magic that you're even here.
Thank you. Well, before we close out, is there anything more you want to say, my friends?
No, that is all for today.
Thank you so much for visiting us last week and this week.
Thank you.